Remember
Who
the
starts off, Ian? Do you start off or do I just go straight in?
You just go for it.
Okay.
and remember the picture at the end.
There's a
There's a
slide,
slide.
which reminds us.
Oh, there's a slide. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
You could just
Everyone.
tell me when everybody's
Kwame.
in.
Hi, Selena. Radza, Bana, Edu.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
Good
Oh,
afternoon.
good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Very good.
We're just waiting for all those who were in the waiting room, and then we will get going.
Hello, Selena.
Seems like one of them lost connection, but hopefully we'll rejoin.
Okay.
Jennifer, yeah. Coming back. Hello, Selena.
Hi, how are you, Marky?
Oh, good. You glad it's Thursday?
Oh, you know, and coincidentally, I don't want it to be Thursday. I want it to be Wednesday.
What do you have against Thursday?
That the week is going and I still have a lot. But I'm happy that it's Thursday for this class. I've been waiting for it. If you can see, I logged in from 2:30 because I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, great. Oh, very nice.
Ian, can you see anybody else in the waiting room?
There's, sorry.
I have
lost-
disabled the waiting room.
Oh, they're coming
Oh.
in directly. So Jennifer was struggling there.
Hello, Miss Clara.
But Jennifer's there, I see. Great.
Okay, so we can
I
start.
got
then.
We
stuck,
can-
but someone opened. I'm here.
Right, Heaven Knight's just joined us. I think we can go for it.
Right. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. It's very nice to see you all again. I missed seeing you last week, so that was unfortunate. And this week we have a different member of the team or two members of the team who aren't able to be with us this afternoon. So I think I can safely say they both sent their regards. So that is Kanita and Jackie. So we're going to try and cope without them, but myself and my three colleagues, I'm sure we will manage. So thank you very much for joining us. So this is, as you know, what the course is, and this is Unit 3, which is about engagement. So we're going to spend a little bit of time this afternoon talking about engagement, but also going through an exercise of engagement that you might find useful to be able to use in your own teaching. So as you know, this is fitting in between last week's unit, which was on relationships, and next week's unit, which is on collaboration. So what I'd like to ask you to do is to have a look at those aims and outcomes, which hopefully you already know about. So we hope that you will be able to consider how relationship, both with yourself and others, underpins engagement, explain the value of engagement in deeper learning, and use methods of facilitation that encourage participants' active involvement. I think we all know that in the online space, it's probably even more of a challenge to be sure that all participants are actively involved. As you know, we've asked everybody to put on their cameras if possible, because that helps a little bit to see if people are engaged and actively involved. But sometimes that's not possible. And it becomes quite difficult as a facilitator to gauge whether your participants are with you or whether their screen is, or they're just online, but maybe busy with something else and not really engaged. So it is a challenge, particularly, I think, with online facilitation. But in preparation for this Unit 3, you were asked to write in your journal and on the discussion forum what dialogue you have experienced, and to think about what has encouraged or discouraged your active participation previously. So whether you posted on the discussion forum or not, or whether you wrote in your journal or not, I hope you had a chance to think about experiencing dialogue within the context of small group learning, and particularly thought about maybe what in the past or on this course or in previous encounters, what had actually encouraged your active participation, but also, so we can avoid it in future, maybe what had discouraged your active participation. So the session for this afternoon is pretty much following the same formula as we've followed in the previous sessions. So I'm not going to go through that because it's the same approach that we've used in all the sessions. So I'm going to move on now to the first activity. And I'm just going to ask you to open your mics and just literally shout out what one word describes a group discussion or online forum experience when relationships are the focus. So what word, so it would be an adjective probably. What word describes a group discussion or online forum experience when relationships are the focus? So not just any group discussion, but one where relationships were or are the focus. I hope it makes sense. Anybody got any ideas?
Cordiality.
Cordiality, lovely, thank you.
Respect.
Respect, great. Anybody else? Shout, just
Trust.
shout. Trust, lovely, yes.
Interactive.
Sorry, say that again.
Interactive.
Interactive, yes.
Thinking about dialogue.
Dialogue, great. Super.
Safety.
Say safety, great.
Attention.
Attention, very nice. Yep.
Patience.
Patience, great.
Engagement.
Engagement, thank you. That's lovely. Right. So I think,
Partnership.
sorry, say again.
Partnership.
Partnership, lovely, lovely. So I think you'll see that many of the words that you've used are some of the words that we've been using in this course so far, including engagement, partnership, you could say relationship, safety, attention, dialogue. We've tried to be interactive, and I think you've probably noticed that. And I think you could also see that a lot of these words reflect back to the principles of the course and the ethos that we tried to outline at the beginning, that we want to, that guided us in creating this course and structuring this course in the way that we did. So hopefully you can start seeing the connections between those. We did have an activity. Let's try this as well then. In the chat, and there may be quite a lot of overlap, but you might think of new things now. What characteristics create a well-functioning small group? Maybe just post things if you think there's anything that's different that you haven't already mentioned that enables a small group to function well? How might you describe a small group, small learning group, small discussion group that is functioning well as a place of learning? If you can post that in the chat. Thank you. Energetic members, lovely. Sometimes difficult in an afternoon, but yes, well functioning, often are energetic. Udo, how might you see that energy, do you think? How, as the facilitator, how do you think you might see that energy?
Yeah, energy is important in anything, but in a small group, if members are not energetic and have some background about the information we're discussing, it is going to be very unattractive. And so we create discussion if we expect some pre-knowledge on the subject, and then the small group discussion among members will be very fruitful. And,
Right. Thank you. So that's a really many important points that you've made there, including the coming with some degree of preparation, even if that is just in your mind, to place yourself within the context of the small group instead of being busy with all the other things that are going on in your life, let alone any actual particular preparation that might be required. So other really interesting things, unity of purpose, I love that. And hopefully we have developed a unity of purpose during the course so far, and everybody is here for the purpose of experiencing how to strengthen your small group facilitation skills. An open facilitator. Mpana, do you want to maybe talk about what you meant by that? What do you mean by open?
I think when the facilitator is open for discussion, is open for learning, is open for, so that way it makes the learners also to open up, to feel comfortable.
Right. Okay. So would that be a facilitator who's able and willing to maybe modify their plans?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's quite difficult to do sometimes, particularly if it's a subject that you maybe are not that familiar with. But certainly, I think you're absolutely right. To be open to what's happening in the group and to be responding to the group is really important. Thank you. Participants with experiences to share. I think all participants have experiences to share. I think it's once they're able to share them, that really becomes a well-functioning group. So I agree with you, Eskara. Shared objectives, that maybe is not dissimilar from the unity of purpose. So that's good. Difficult to be well-functioning if there's sort of conflicting agendas. Active members able to contribute and participate with each other. I like the way you phrased that. Communication. Oh, I nearly read that as a thing. Okay, cooperative. Yes, so that goes with your participation with each other, Jennifer. Thank you. And everyone on the group is everyone in the group is on the same page. And again, I think that talks to the unity of purpose. So that's fabulous. Thank you all very much for those. Those are really interesting. And I think those are what we should hold in mind as we strive to become the facilitators of well-functioning small groups. So thank you for that. Right, so we're going to move into something which is a bit different. If I can get my PowerPoint to decide to move. I have a computer who seems to think it is Friday afternoon, so it's working very, very, very slowly. And you know, with PowerPoint, if you get impatient and you press enter too many times, it skips 4 slides. So now I don't know what is going on here. Let me try one more time. Have any of the tech people on the call got an idea of what I can do to get my slides to advance? Any advice would be very, very welcome.
Did you close it and open it again?
Must I stop sharing and share again? Okay.
Probably.
Sorry, I don't know why I decided to do that.
Coupled with patience.
Still doesn't want to do this. Let me close, stop sharing, advance the slide in PowerPoint, and see if that will work. Okay, let's try this. Okay, right. So we're going to try an exercise which will require you to participate. Hopefully, it will require you to be, well, it will require you to be active. I hope that it will engage you, and it definitely includes dialogue. So we've covered some of the things that you mentioned earlier. So it's a little bit complicated in that different people will take on different tasks within the exercise. So what we thought is that we would, as the facilitators, we will demonstrate first of all. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to show you the instructions and then we'll do the demonstration. And then those instructions will go with you into the breakaway rooms where you'll have a chance to actually do this exercise yourself. This exercise is called the 3 whys exercise, and it's an exercise in active listening. So let me see if now my PowerPoint, there we go. So as you see, it's a little bit complicated. So let me talk you through this slide first of all. So we have 5 different roles. We have the role of the timekeeper, we have the role of the speaker, we have the role of the listener, the role of the observer, and the role of the reporter. Now, if all goes well, you'll all have a chance, well, not all. The reporter remains the reporter. But the other 4 roles, 4 people will each have a chance to play one of that role one time, okay? The people are all important and all have a particular task. So the 2 who will be speaking are the speaker here in green, and that speaker is asked to start the conversation based on the topic, my favorite way of encouraging student engagement in small groups is, and they will then talk about what their favorite way is. The person in blue, who is the listener or the facilitator of this active listening dialogue between these 2 people, will respond at the end of that speaker's paragraph, as it were, and say, something along the lines of, yes, and why do you do, or why do you think, or why do you try that? So the speaker gets to explore that a little bit further. And the listener then is allowed 2 more why questions as they really try to understand what it is that the speaker does to encourage student engagement. So the listener is trying to learn the tricks of the trade maybe, or different ways of doing things, or different reasons why a person does things that the speaker is offering to them. The timekeeper is the boss of this whole situation. So they are helping us to keep to time, because sometimes when we get involved in these active listening dialogues, we lose track of time if it's going really well. But as you know, we have limited amount of time in these sessions, and so we really need to think of ways that we can help participants to keep to time. So we allocate a specific timekeeper role, and this will, as outlined there, there's 1 minute for the speaker to start the conversation. Then there's another 2 minutes for that 3 whys conversation to happen. And then there's 1 minute for the observer to report. So let me move on to the task of the observer. So this is the 4th person in the room, will be the observer. And they are watching and listening to this active dialogue between the speaker and the listener. And they're listening for something that they learned from having watched this dialogue. So they don't participate in the conversation. They watch and they listen, and they pick up something that they have learned. And they will share that in that 1 minute observer report. Then those 4 people change over tasks. And Mariki will explain how to do that in a little while. And repeat that cycle as often as time will allow. So the last person in the room is the reporter. And the reporter's job is to listen to all the things that the observers have said. And if there's enough time, there will be 4 different observers. So the reporter needs to take that collective learning from the 4 different people and put that together. And the reporter will then come back at the end of the session into this plenary room and report to us all the things that were learnt through listening and observing to an active listening dialogue in your rooms. And this is about both how to encourage engagement in small groups and the experience of the active listening activity. So that's why this instruction will be in the breakaway room with you, because there's a lot to remember there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're going to go back and just demonstrate this to you. Has anybody got any questions? Mariki?
You might be the timekeeper, but you tell people, oh, there is how much time they have. Oh, it says on the instructions. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So for this demonstration, Mariki is the timekeeper. Ian is the speaker. Talita is the observer. And I am the listener. And you all are all the other level of observers. So you can see what we're doing and hopefully have fun when you get a chance to do it yourself. Okay, right. Okay, I can't see all of the faces, but I'm assuming there's no other questions. Is that right?
No
Okay,
questions.
great. Thank you very much.
Can I just
Yeah.
interrupt a moment, Julia, and just say, Roger and Winifred, we're going to break into rooms straight after this. Please have the rooms ready.
Yeah,
they are
this is to
ready.
be- Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you.
We just need the number of
So-
minutes they'll spend in the room, that's all.
Yeah, maybe just to pause, when you are going to facilitate this course, what happened behind the scenes now is that we made up the groups, but some groups only had 2 or 3 people in. So Roger and Winifred has now changed each group to have at least 4 people. Julia, just for you to know, so there won't be a fifth role.
I've seen this challenge and we've now shortened the implementation period to any.
Got a bit
Okay.
of background noise from somebody, but thanks, Mariki. It is one of the things that makes this exercise a little bit tricky. So you might have more than 5 people in a breakaway room, and then one person is sitting there without a task. Or you might have less than 5 people in the room, and one person might need to take on more than one task. So you do have to be prepared to be, what was it? Something that was posted in the chat, essentially flexible and agile, and be willing to respond to whatever is happening. Yeah. Okay.
How many minutes for the small group?
It's half an hour. Well, it depends exactly what time we start.
Okay, all right. You tell us just before we break up. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to now try and start this. So Mariki, sorry, I've got drilling going on just outside my place here. I hope nobody else can hear it, and I will try to remain sufficiently focused that it doesn't irritate me. So Mariki, you're the boss. Tell us when to go. Talita, you know what your role is. You're the observer. Ian, you are the teller of the story, and I'm going to ask the three whys. So Mariki, will you tell us when Ian can go?
Okay, Ian can go. 1 minute for Ian.
Thank you. My favorite way of encouraging student engagement in small groups is to get people to talk about real experiences, to get them to tell a story that illustrates what we're trying to talk about, and share a real experience through a story.
Okay, so Ian, why do you think storytelling helps with engagement?
Because we all have stories within us. We all have experiences to share. There's nobody who doesn't have a story.
Okay, and why are stories different from maybe other forms of dialogue?
I think because they're authentic, so it forces us to be real rather than talking theoretically. So for me, in that, it engages us more than just, popping out theories.
Mm. So you're saying, yeah, okay. I've run out of why questions now. Now I want to ask clarifying things. And certainly if it was a real dialogue, I probably would have gone on to asking Ian, oh, I've got it as a why, but I ran out of my three, is why authenticity makes a difference to learning. So I can see where you're going in terms of engagement, but I think my last question might have been, why does authenticity promote learning? Because that's what we're here for, is to promote learning through our facilitation. So I don't know if you want to answer that last one, Ian, or whether I let you off the hook.
I'm tempted to pass, but I would say that, yeah, because I think learning is holistic. It involves all of us, not just our cognitive faculties, and being authentic engages us in terms of emotions and yeah, beyond just something cognitive.
Lovely, lovely. I'm tempted to launch into a whole lecture around constructivist learning, but I won't do that, because that's not the purpose of this afternoon. So Mariki, how are we doing time-wise?
10 seconds left.
Right, that's pretty good, hey? Okay, so thank you very much. So that means, back to you, Mariki.
Oh, the observer.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, I must reset. Okay, observer, you can go.
Okay.
What I've learned from observing this dialogue is, firstly, from the speaker, who really valued involving everybody in the discussion and making sure that people can relate whatever learning to their practice. So sort of bridging the theory practice gap. From the listener, I realized that listening to a person and asking why questions make you think, and you have to think very deeply and listen again very deeply. So you need to really really be engaged in thinking on your feet and contemplating what the person is saying.
the dot, 1 minute. Well done.
Thank you. And then Mariki, do you want to explain then how the changeover would work, the next round?
Okay, so we were going to the 3 groups now, where we hope to have 4 people at least per group, because it seems that we are 12 participants present. And by the way, I just want to say welcome to Laura, who is today here for the first time. She is from UCSF, and we're happy that you can join us today. I hope you can sort of just fall in. We've had quite a bit of work before, but I hope you can catch up quickly. Okay, so in the, hi Laura, she's on the chat. So in the group leader will then first say the four roles. How many roles we have now? 3 roles. But there's a fourth role.
We had 4 roles. So you were the timekeeper, I was the listener, Ian was the speaker, and Talita was the observer. The one we didn't manage was the reporter.
Okay, all right. So then the group leader will start off by saying, so each one a role, and then the roles will just move on, one to the right or one to the left for the next round. So, but
there'll be one of us in each room, so we'll be able to help with that.
Yes.
And the one role that we didn't demonstrate was the role of the reporter, because the reporter remains the reporter and will take the observer's learnings and share those with the group. They can add their own learnings, because in a way they will also be an observer all the time. So they can add their own learnings to their report, and they will be the person who reports back when we come back into the plenary.
So we need to give one person in the group a report back role to the bigger group.
Yes, and they hold on to that role for the whole time. They don't do the circulation.
If there are enough people.
If there are enough people, yes.
Hello, Iskadar.
Okay.
All right. So then, Roger and Winifred, you can put us into the 3 groups.
Enjoy yourselves. Listen.
For how long?
Have fun. We need to be back at 5 to the hour. So there's 20 minutes now.
Okay.
Roger, is that okay?
Okay, so
yes,
we are going for 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The rooms are open.
We want to strike HIV. Somewhere. Somewhere there. Yeah. Yes, now.
Hi, Julia, would you like us to put you in a group?
No, I'll join by myself. Thank you.
Okay,
Roger,
right,
can I just check with you? Oh, there was something I was about to say. Sorry. So you're posting some very interesting things there. I think one of the interesting things as a participant is just picking up that comment in the middle there, maybe others could ask me more questions, and reflecting a little bit on what Ray was describing as the 3 different approaches to asking questions. I think sometimes as facilitators, we're a little bit hesitant to ask students questions. We feel like we're putting people on the spot, but actually probably how you ask a participant or a student the question. There's no doubt that being asked a question brings you into the room and brings you into the space of active engagement. Maybe it's how we ask the questions that can be helpful. So somebody saying they tend to speak and share in all the roles. That's an interesting observation. and I'm wondering the one below, present but could not participate. I'm sorry about that. Maybe if there's something that we could do about that, we could help you to be able to participate in the next session. So maybe if you contact the administrators, maybe we could help. No time to play around or even blink. That's lovely. Luckily it was short, so easy to focus for a while maybe. I learned that the why question is not so bad. Knowing that I'll be required to ask a question made me more attentive. Yeah. Okay. Engage me more by asking tough questions and actively listening to me talking. I think it does help us to think more deeply about a statement that we make and to actually explore our own thinking. I see Erdo is struggling to write on the document. The why question made me more reflective. I think that's also true. Yeah. Okay. Will this document stay open, Talita?
Yes, it's still open.
On the LMS?
I'm not sure if it's open on the LMS. I'm not sure about that, Julia.
So we could post it onto the LMS afterwards so people can just maybe be reminded. Is that possible?
I'm sure it is. I'll ask Anita tomorrow.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thanks very much. So please carry on writing, carry on recording your reflections, but you could also record your reflections in your own journal and post anything on the discussion board if you like. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next exercise. I'm now not sure who is screen sharing. Talita, is it you or?
I can still share my screen again if you want.
I just need to go back to the PowerPoint.
No, I can also do that. It's fine.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll do it. Sorry, I didn't realize mine had sort of stopped sharing. Oh, I thought I could do that. I thought I'd done that. Come on, let's do this, please. Share. Here we go. Sorry, it's my technical thing again. And now there we go. So let's just try this just for a few moments. I'm going to ask you to use one phrase. No explanations allowed. So a phrase isn't even a whole sentence, but it is more than one word. So it's a kind of a compromise because one word is often so difficult. One phrase to say what is challenging, what are you finding challenging about how to facilitate engagement? And you might want to complete the sentence. Today I was challenged with. So I think sometimes it helps to reflect on the place that we're still struggling. So if you think about your own facilitation of engagement of the small groups that you're involved in or the students that you're involved in, what is the challenge that you're still experiencing? And please, I'm going to call out names this time. And let's see how far we go. So I'm just going to go down my list of participants. Selina, what are you still challenged by or finding challenging?
Today what I found challenging was active listening.
Oh, I'm so tempted to say why, but I'm not allowed to because I only asked you for one phrase. So active listening is still a challenge. Thank you. Silibalo.
Maintaining active listening.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Kwame.
Intelligent questioning.
Oh, okay. You're setting your bar very high. Eskidar.
Intriguing students into reading more.
Into doing what more?
Intriguing students to read more.
Reading more, right? Okay. Let me slide that up a little bit. Erdo.
My challenge was comprehending the activities of the group as a reporter.
Aha, right, right. Okay, sorry about that. Jennifer.
Summarizing as the observer.
Okay, okay, thank you. Ray.
Today I was challenged with time constraints.
I wish for
The
you
more-
that was only today, but I'm afraid it may be more pervasive than that.
The more you want to engage, the stronger the relationship builds, and suddenly you have to cut it off because you can't carry on and on.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? Yeah.
So time is a
thank-
limiting factor to strong engagements.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Just to follow on, and I probably shouldn't do this, but it is, if you have regular meetings, then even if you've got little pieces, the little pieces more frequently do add up to something. But once off short times is very difficult. Heaven Light.
Okay, I wanted to say time, but I'll say network.
You'll say what, sorry?
Network connectivity.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Dr. Mugadza.
Thank you. I had the challenge of being assigned to rooms, but finally it was solved and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay. And in terms of facilitating engagement, what challenges are you experiencing?
Actually starting the engagement process, but once we have started it, then it all goes well.
Okay, okay. That's a very valid point. Thank you. And I don't know if Shawanda is able to hear us. No. Okay. Yeah, Shawanda, yes.
I wasn't able to participate in the engagement session. So I really don't know.
Okay, but if you just reflect on just what is. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I said I didn't participate in the exercise, so I really did not know. I don't know what went down in the exercise. So. But I will listen to the recording later on, and that's all.
Okay, thanks. But in terms of your current thoughts around facilitating engagement yourself, having been on this course, what do you think is still, what is the challenge that you still have in terms of facilitating engagement with your students?
My challenge would be adequate preparation.
Okay, theirs or yours?
Yeah. Yes.
Theirs
yes.
and yours, or theirs or yours?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
You said inadequate preparation was
adequate preparation from my hand.
From yourself.
From my hand. Yeah, yes, as a facilitator, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Shawanda. That's very honest. Thank you very much. Okay, right. Let us approach the closing of this session then, I think. Okay, so I just wanted to remind everybody of Driscoll's model of reflection that we started this course with. And I think what we want to help you with as we go through the course with your own reflection is to move from what? So to move from the description of your experience or the description of the situation to the deeper phases of reflection, to the so what. So having had this experience or having been involved in this situation, what did I learn? So the so what is what did I as an individual learn? And then moving to the final level of now what, which is to think about the action that you will now take as a result of this reflection. So as a facilitator, having realized what you learned as a result of having participated in an experience, what will you do that is different or better than what you were doing before? So that is reflection, is all three steps. So don't stop at the what. Carry on through to think about the so what have I learned, to the now what am I going to do about what I've learned? So Talita, I'm going to ask if you would please share it. Oops, take a picture. Not quite. You see, it did that thing of going too soon, too far. Okay. Yeah. If we could have that, thank you. So this is the same sheet that you've been familiar with before, that we end all the sessions with, reflecting on what you've learned by thinking about what facilitation strategies did I observe today, and what does that tell me about learning about facilitating small group learning. So observation of some facilitation strategies, and then what does that tell you about learning? I think, Talita, we probably need to leave that just running in the background because we need to take the picture, and then I need to just talk about the post-session activity, and then I need to hand over to you to talk about the preparation for Unit 4. Thank you. So I think now we need the picture. So I presume it's a stop share. Roger, Winifred, who takes the picture? And if everybody could have their cameras on for a moment. Eskida, Kwame, Kewin, Dr. Mugadza, Roger, Winifred, how about your videos on? Edo, don't go away. Oh, you're changing the lighting. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, who takes the
Alright, so-
picture?
Roger will.
Yeah, so I just took the snapshot of it.
Okay, so we're done.
Yeah, we'll be good, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Right, so then let's go back to this. So the post-session activity, it's similar to what you're used to. Write in the journal and on the discussion forum, please. What skills or strategies have you used when a participant is not engaging? So what do you do? We've all been in a group where there's a student that doesn't engage and doesn't participate. What do you do to try and fix that? And then what are any facilitation skills that you might want to practice going forward as a result of Unit 3? So please feel free to post that in the journal or write it in your journal and post it on the discussion forum. And then Talita, I think it's over to you for preparation for Unit 4. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. I realize that everybody is not now here today, but we will, for preparation for Unit 4 for next week, you are required in groups to read the preparatory material. So there's one book, guidelines for facilitators, the Sunshine Guideline, 2 articles and a video. And we want you to in groups. So what we will do tomorrow with Kanita is we will allocate you to groups in the LMS. And I'm going to ask Kanita if we can also send an announcement out as a reminder for this group work. So before next week, Thursday, if you're allocated to a group, you need to meet, you need to make some time to meet or chat to each other, discuss how you will divide these 4 materials, and then go through it and then meet up again to just briefly discuss it so that you are prepared for next week's session. I don't know if there's any questions on that. But if you have questions, as I said, we're gonna post a announcement. You will be allocated to groups on the LMS, and then if you have questions, you are welcome to just send an email as well.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to suggest that in addition to doing this group on the LMS, if we can also send an email to us, that would be most helpful.
Sure, we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've reached past. So this is the end of our session. It just remains for me to thank you all for participating and I think engaging this afternoon. So thank you very much for that. And we look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. And please, just a reminder, feel free to post things on the discussion board, even if it's just your ideas, whatever. Yeah, but thanks everybody. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.